At the time of this recording, CSS Scroll-driven Animations are not supported in all browsers. They are only supported in Chromium-based browsers, like Chrome and Edge. So in Can I Use, you can see that Safari and Firefox are not supporting that. So we are searching for animation timeline. You can see it's also not supported for the view function and the scroll function. In case you want to support it in other browsers, there is a polyfill for that. This polyfill works in many cases. However, I heard that there are some cases where this polyfill doesn't work right, and there are some limitations when you are using it. But in my opinion, it's better if you stick with the browsers that support it, as they will give you the best result and you will always be sure that all users have the same experience. But even if you use it in the browsers that support it, you will notice that the elements will be broken in the browsers that don't support it. So how can you use it in the browsers that only support it while not breaking the elements in the browsers that don't support it? So let's go to an example to show you that. So I'm using the same example from all previous videos. We have a box that changes the color from blue to red and turns to circle. And for the animation timeline, I'm using view here. So it's a view progress timeline and the animation range is contained. Let's first see it in a browser that supports it. So I'm here in Chrome and let's try scroll. And it works as expected because we have animation range contained and it animates while it's contained in the scroller. Now let's try that in Firefox. So I switched to Firefox and let's scroll. So you can see that the element is broken. It's using the end state of the animation. And that happens because animation timeline is not supported in Firefox. But what if we want to run that animation only in Chrome because it supports animation timeline, but when the browser doesn't support it, we don't want to use any animation, and instead it should just be background white. And that's easy to do using @supports. So let's go down here and say @supports, and we are checking if animation timeline is supported. So let's say animation timeline, view. And now let's move these three lines here, and they are for the box element, so let's wrap it with box. And now let's save. So you can see now the element is white, which means that we are not applying any animation to it. And that's what we want for browsers that don't support it. However, if we switch back to Chrome, let's try to scroll. And it works as expected. So that's all you have to do. When you want to style the elements in a different way when animation timeline is supported, all you have to do is to use @supports and then animation timeline, and then you specify the type of the timeline. In this case, we are using view timeline because the animation timeline for the box is a view. But if you are using a scroll timeline, then you need to check for that, like this. And with that, I can say, congratulations. You have learned all the concepts you need to create scroll-driven animations in CSS. In the next few videos, we will apply what we've learned in this course by building some cool example projects.